All right, everyone, my name's Rabea, here at the NAMM Show 2024 in Anaheim, California, at the Victory booth. It's very cool to have Victory here again. I'm happy to be here, and I just wanted to go through some of the new exciting stuff that we've got this year. So, as some of you might know, I've been involved in the R&D process of the Victory amp design for, I want to say, nearly 10 years now, something like that. We started on the Kraken in 2014. Believe it or not, so it's a long, long time, and I feel very thankful to be in that position. So, when it came to these new amplifiers that have stood behind me, it was really, really fun to be involved in the testing and the discussion of how they should sound and the feature set, and just generally get involved with Martin and his genius amp designing prowess. So, really quickly, if some of you didn't know, Martin Kidd is a prolific amp designer. Started with Cornford, now that he works with Victory and has done for quite a long time. Wanted to do something that was, I guess the best way to describe it is the creme de la creme when it comes to hand-wired, like a new design, but hand-wired, like the best components, like just the top of the top that we could possibly make, is what's stood behind me. So we've got the MK Overdrive and the MK Clean, which are brand new original designs from Martin. We'll start with the MK Overdrive. It's basically a multi-channel, goes from clean, crunch, high gain. It's kind of inspired by, I guess, the MK50, which is an old Cornford amp that Martin's kind of widely known for designing, and probably his favorite amp from those years. And it's kind of where the inspiration started, but obviously when he came with the prototypes, we got to, play through it, adjust it, modify it, decide on different feature sets, and that's what we've ended up here. So it has a couple of different voice switches. Obviously you've got EQ, you've got all the stuff that you would expect to find on an amplifier of this type. It's 100 watt 6L6 powered, it's got separate EQs for the channels, and it's an absolute fire breather if it wants to be. It's not the kind of high gain amplifier that I guess you would associate with like modern metal players or anything like that, but it can certainly pack a punch, and it's really saturated when you want it to be. So you can kind of get a lot of different tones out of it, but yeah, it's absolute ridiculous high gain, beautiful sparkly clean, nice crunch, and it looks like a beast. And then the MK Clean, which it wouldn't be right to have a high gain head without a clean head. So the MK Clean is Martin's interpretation of, those highest of the high-end, high headroom clean amplifiers that you see. We challenged Martin to sort of bring his version of that to the table, because we wanted to have that in our lineup. And yeah, it's cool because Martin has his own sort of tonal choices, tonal footprint, and I think that's what he's managed to achieve with this. It's the kind of clean amp that punches you in the chest with it's so powerful that you have to experience it yourself. Like when you dig in, you feel it thump you in the chest. It's got that much clean headroom, and I think that's really important that it has that, because it allows that extra level of dynamic. It's super fast, super beautiful. Yeah, and it has a couple of cool features that you wouldn't necessarily find on the other amplifiers in that sort of range. We've got a bass shift switch, a bright switch, and a voice switch, which have actually been really cool. And part of the design process was deciding, are we going to have those? Are we going to, what kind of voicing does it change? All that kind of stuff. So finally landing on it and actually showing these for the first time has been, I think, for everybody, A, really proud moment, and B, a huge sigh of relief that we managed to get them here in time. And a little funny story when it came to designing this amplifier, because it has a reverb tank in it, of course, spring reverb tank. When we were designing the amplifier and we were looking at prototypes, and we had these spring reverb tanks, we had two different tanks we were choosing between. One was kind of brighter with a longer decay, and then one was not as bright and had a shorter decay. And we were like, which one do we prefer? I think we all kind of landed on the one that was a bit brighter, but we weren't necessarily a fan of how bright it was. And we were sat around, and I turned to the guys and I said, what happens if you turn it upside down? They're like, I don't know, let's turn it upside down. So we spun the reverb tank upside down, and it changed the sound. it affected that gravity affected the tone, physics affected the tone. We turned it upside down and it completely changed the sound to a way that we all unanimously decided was better. So fun fact, the reverb tank's upside down. On top of the fact that they're custom shop amplifiers, you can actually customize these yourself. Because if you're going to go all the way and get these amplifiers, it's nice that you can actually customize it, personalize it, put your own spin on it in that sense. So you can see quite clearly we've got different color faceplates, we've got different color logos that you can put on front of the amplifier and the cab, different color handles and different color grill cloth. So you really can customize it to be the perfect amp for you in that sense. And on top of that, you can also look at this beautiful, what do you call these, a swatch of Tolex. Look at all these swatches. If I was going to pick my favorite, I would probably go with, I mean, part of me wants to go with this Larry orange, just because, you know, it's loud and the amp's loud, so it kind of makes sense. But if I was being more sensible, I would probably, and the yellow. Maybe I'd go, orange head, yellow cab. That's completely a lie, I would never do that. I think I would probably go with this, like, to be honest, I'd go with this color. I think this is lovely. Look at it, it's great.